Going on, everybody? Welcome back to the corner. The only corner where we selling statistics and knowledge and not dope and pussy. So we're gonna start out this college football video today talking about a whole lot of SEC. Now I thought we were gonna have to kind of get into SEC standings and what the SEC championship looks like, but after this weekend, as long as Alabama and A&M take care of business for the rest of the year, it should be Alabama, Texas A&M. But first one we're going to get into is this number 18 Ole Miss versus Oklahoma game. Now, Oklahoma had a lot to prove coming off of a loss right here. Mateer coming off of this thumb surgery, we'll be more specific with it, it's thumb surgery. He's just not looking the same. He's just not looking right. With that being said, on the other side of the ball, Trinidad Chambliss has been an absolute dog on the field since the day Lane Kiffin gave him the ball when Simmons got hurt. And I've been saying he looks good. He looked good against Georgia. He looked good against Oklahoma. What do you have? 24 for 44, 315, a touchdown. He had 53 on the ground as well. Ole Miss had John Mateer running for his life the entire day. That line just blew up every single time. Keywan Lacey, Ole Miss running back, is also extremely legit. Has very much contributed to this high-powered offense. Multiple games he has been a leading force. So I mean, they've got the weapons. I mean, he himself had 78 on the ground and 2 touchdowns. So, and then they outscored Ole Miss outscored Oklahoma 9-0 in the fourth quarter. I mean, just stood on business. They have Carolina this week. They've got Florida and Mississippi State, which is a rivalry game to end the year. All they got to do is win out. All they got to do is win. With that being said, USF, all they had to do was win this weekend. Couldn't get it done. Oklahoma, they've got a rough schedule for the rest of the year. Number 14, Tennessee. Number 4, Alabama. Number 19, Missouri. And then LSU. These teams with no coach, you've got to watch out for. Sometimes they figure it out, sometimes they don't. Ole Miss gets out with a 34-26 win. And it rained for a day and a half before this game. So it was very slippery. Players slipping all over the place. But, I mean, man, all I can say is the Trinidad Chambliss is getting it done. Next, we're going to go with this number 4 Alabama at Carolina game. Now, this was my personal favorite game to watch this weekend. I think they 100% could have been... We could have been talking about an upset right now, for sure. It was definitely possible. Now, Alabama does get the win 29-22. Lenore Sellers, first off, Lenore Sellers is a huge human being. I mean, like, a massive human being. This is the first time I really was like, damn. Like, that's a big boy. Also, Carolina's offense woke up in the second half of this game. Bama's first quarter pick was off of a deflection. Just receiver kind of tossed it up. So, I mean, honestly, this first touchdown that they had just is, it's one of those freak things. Bama's offense really struggled to do anything compared to what they have been able to do all year long, other than the Florida State game. Now, my only 2 comparisons is, does the Sellers and Tommy Castellanos type quarterbacks give Alabama just massive problems? I mean, there's the only 2 offenses that have really put Alabama to a test. Now, this is the order of what this second half is by far the most entertaining game to watch. This is SEC football. So Ryan Williams with a huge fourth down drop, of course. And then one play after, Carolina has a 50-yard bomb for a touchdown to Nick Harbor. Bama has a 3-and-out. Carolina marches down the field for a field goal. Bama gets the ball back, another 3-and-out. Muffs a punt. Carolina has 3-and-out. They muff a punt. Carolina gets it inside the 30, goes down, scores another touchdown, and then this is to put them up 8 points. Bama gets the ball back, milks 7 minutes off of the clock. It was 9:20, I think, left on the clock when they scored their touchdowns, 2:17. Milked 7 minutes of the clock just to tie it. Go trick play, direct snap, quarterback handoff, bootleg for the 2-point conversion to tie it. Carolina gets the ball. Sellers gets stripped in a pile up. I mean, then Bama goes down, scores a touchdown for the win. I mean, there's just you can't write this shit, man. You can't write this shit. Ty Simpson was 24 for 43, 253 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bama for the rest of the year, they've got Oklahoma and the ever daunting Auburn. They are number 2 in the rankings right now in SEC standings. So, and then Carolina's got number 7 Ole Miss and number 3 A&M left on the schedule. And if they play like they played against Alabama, they can 100% upset somebody. So we might be talking about, which they always do at the end of every year. They always get somebody. Next, we got number 15, Missouri at, I believe, number 10, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt gets out with the win, 17-10. There is not much to talk about in this game statistically. Both teams did rush for over 120 yards. But Bo Pribula absolutely shatters his ankle. He is out for the year. One of those just terrible injuries. One of those don't look it up. It's rough to see. Missouri actually did have a chance to tie this game up, and they completed a Hail Mary at the 1-yard line, which is almost worse than not completing it. You know, I'd rather not. Diego Pavia is still getting Heisman chance, so that is definitely happening. The more realistic thing for me, though, is Vanderbilt very well might be playoff bound. I mean, if they keep playing, they've got Texas this week. If they can beat Texas and they can finish out decently, man, it is gonna be wild. It is gonna be wild. Now, with that being said, we're gonna move over to another SEC game where we got number 5 Texas A&M at LSU, number 20. Now, this game was very, very competitive until Casey Concepcion took a punt to the house in, I believe, the third quarter, shortly after halftime, to make it a 2-score game, and then it just, the floodgates opened there. But 49-25, Texas A&M. LSU fires Brian Kelly following this game. Also, side note, Trey'Dez Green is a huge, I believe he's 6'7", 6'8". He's a huge guy, a wide receiver for LSU. Whether or not he makes a difference this year or next year, but we will see him in the league. There's no way anybody's passing him up. Now on the other side, Marcel Reed proved me wrong. I have been critical of him all year long. Now he still made a couple mistakes today, but the guy he went 12 for 21, 201 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns. 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, and then 13 rushes for 108 yards. He was so agile. He's phenomenal escaping pressure and just getting out of the pocket and making something out of a play. He just moves straight up. I mean, the kid he looked phenomenal. He looked phenomenal. A&M had 400 yards of offense. They had 200 passing, 220 yards rushing as a team. They had 4 rushing touchdowns as a team. Marcel put himself in the Heisman race, 100%. A&M has Missouri, Carolina, and Texas to finish their SEC schedule and competitive games for the rest of the year. Now, they are in first. So, like I said, as long as Alabama and Texas A&M win their games for the rest of the year, it don't matter by how much, they're going to be in the SEC championship. Tennessee has not had that third loss yet. They've looked good. Offense looks good. Defense is absolutely atrocious. But I honestly think that they are leaning into the idea that they have a phenomenal offense, high-powered offense, low-powered defense. I mean, they gave up 475 yards on defense, but then themselves on offense score 500 yards, or drop 500 yards. So, score 56 points. They had 5 passing touchdowns. They had 400 passing yards, and they had 146 yards on the ground. I mean, just, if you can't, what do you do about that? They had damn near 600 yards of offense. Joey Aguilar, 20 for 26, 396 yards through the air and 3 touchdowns. They had 3 receivers over 100 yards. They just had 4 rushing touchdowns to finish, to right behind their 5 passing touchdowns. So, just an absolute dogfight. But the defense, I mean, it just playoff-wise, they're going to keep them out. If they keep them out, it will be because of the defense. Next, we've got this number 22 Texas game at Mississippi State. Texas gets out of here in overtime, 45-38. They gave up 450 yards on defense. They gave up 380 yards to the air alone. They had to overcome a 17-point deficit with a 24-point fourth quarter just to force overtime. Arch Manning left after a big hit in the fourth, but he also took a big hit in the first when was a little ginger to get up, and I thought the hit in the first quarter was bigger than the fourth, so I think he might have been playing through something the whole game. But the backup, Matthew Caldwell, comes in, and the few times he's had to come in while Arch was hurt this year, he's made a smart throw. I won't say he's not dropping a 75-yard dot, but he's making the right decision, and when you're not playing well, let me tell you, don't let that backup come in and start doing well, because that's when you're going to start having problems. They only had 76 yards on the ground. Now, with C.J. Baxter and Wisner, I don't understand that, because I thought they would be rushing-wise. I'm a C.J. Baxter fan. Coming into this year, I thought he would be the number 1 guy at Texas, and he'd be getting it done, but that's not the case. Ryan Wingo had 2 50-yard bombs inside the 5-yard line, did not have any touchdowns. He did have 5 receptions for 184 yards. Parker Livingstone had 2 touchdowns. Emmett Mosley had 4 receptions for 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they have the weapons. Like, it's there. They haven't had their second loss, but their schedule is rough for the rest of the year. Their big games, they've got Vandy this week. They've got Georgia at Georgia, and then they've got Texas A&M to finish the year out. So it's going to be a dogfight for them to have any type of consideration for the playoff. But if they get it done, how do you not? How do you keep them out? You know you're taking out A&M and Georgia and Vanderbilt. I mean, it's the only way that I see right now, to be honest. Now, let's move on to everyone else in the FBS, or in the top 25. Indiana rolls over Wisconsin or over UCLA's offense that has really been thriving. 56-6. They had 475 yards of offense, 262 yards on the ground alone. Mendoza was 15 for 22, 168 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, Indiana looks good, man. They're my number one. They're definitely my number one. Ohio State hasn't played anybody in my opinion. Number 6, Oregon bounces back from a loss a couple weeks with another in-conference win, 21-7 over Wisconsin. Jordan Davison, 236-pound, 6-foot running back, has 16 for 102 with 2 touchdowns, and that's the few weapons that they have in their running back room. I mean, that running back room is loaded. Oregon looks good. A rough loss to Indiana. So, and Dante Moore left in the third with a bloody nose after a big hit, but coaches came out and said that it was precautionary and they really could have put him back in, but they get the win and he gets the rest. So, next we're going to move. I'm going to read the next 3 games and then I'm going to talk about all 3 of those games because these teams, this ACC is getting wild western up in that bitch. So, I got number 19, Louisville wins a shootout with Boston College, 38-24, behind Isaac Brown's, from what I know, second huge game. It was 14 for 205 yards and a touchdown. Virginia beats North Carolina 17-16, and Georgia Tech remains undefeated at 8-0. Thumps Syracuse 41-16 behind Haynes King, my Heisman for this year. 25 for 31, 304 through the air, 5 touchdowns, 3 passing, 2 rushing, and then he had 91 yards on the ground to complement all of that. The reason I'm speaking on all 3 at the same time is because Louisville, who upset Miami, who has a very good offense, very good defense, is 4th right now in the ACC behind an undefeated Georgia Tech, Virginia, and Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh has to play Miami, Georgia Tech, and Notre Dame. They will leave with a loss from one of those games. So, in my opinion, in my head, Pitt's out. Pitt's not surviving all 3 of those games. Virginia has to go play at Duke. Duke gave Georgia Tech a good fight for 3 quarters. They have a very efficient offense. I do not think that Virginia is as efficient of a team as Georgia Tech. So I think it's very possible that was my cat. I think it's very possible that it is Georgia Tech versus Louisville for the ACC championship, and then it will be anybody's game there. I think that's going to be a very good game. But the ACC has 4 teams very much in the running. Very much in the running. Texas Tech also bounces back with a 42-0 win with a shutout of Oklahoma State. They have no Baron Morton again and then split the throws between 2 quarterbacks. So, and then finally, we've got number 9, Miami gets revenge in the ACC with a 42-7 win over Stanford. Coming off the upset to Louisville, they completely reworked this offense and how they're play calling right now. Fletcher Jr., 23 carries for 106 yards, 3 touchdowns. Beck was 21 for 28, 21 completions for only 189 yards and a touchdown. They obviously have completely taken away the deep ball of Beck after his 4 picks and have kind of started to trust this run game a little bit, which I think is smart. But, yeah, boys, we've got what was supposed to be one of the greatest weekends college football slate-wise in years that is not as, I believe at the beginning of the year there was like 6 ranked versus ranked matchups in this weekend alone, November 1st. So, but we still do have some very much playoff contention games in this weekend. So it'll be a good weekend of football. We'll have the preview game up. I'm going to drop my own top 25 this week. I think it will at least be the top 12. So with that being said, man, welcome back to the corner, y'all.